Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're all enjoying the absolute gem of an FPS that is Insurgency Sandstorm. I think 2020 will be a great year for the game, especially with mod support and console releases on the horizon. Like I said in previous videos, if you haven't already picked this up, now is the time, as it's only going to go from strength to strength. So let's head into part 3, where there will be a bigger focus on why some new players get frustrated with the game, and I want to start by talking about sheep. Now, one thing I notice, especially with new players, is they tend to follow the player ahead of them like a sheep following the herd. Now, this can be very bad if you are playing against an experienced team, as you will literally be lining up to die. It still amazes me how some players repeat exactly what the person did in front of them, even when that individual has just dropped dead. So please don't be the one queuing up to die in the same manner. What you should be aiming to do is find alternative paths into an objective rather than following the sheep. Try and test the map's boundaries to find a sneaky path behind the enemy team to flank them. Other players will usually follow if you communicate with them and tell them what's going on. If you've ever been in a match where it appears enemy players are coming from every direction, flanking manoeuvres like these are usually the reason why. I don't play the gunner class that often, but when I do, I adopt either one of two playing styles. The first is to move quickly and deploy the machine gun on stationary objects. This will stabilise the weapon as you fire off a few short bursts towards enemy positions. I will then quickly move to the next position and repeat the process. The key here is not hanging around in the same place for too long. The second and probably safest way to play this class is to remain in a fixed location and very occasionally move around to keep enemies guessing where you are. In terms of loadout, I seem to get on better with the M249 compensator and red dot. I also tend to carry a sidearm for moments where you might need to move fast, and definitely equip heavy armour. Remember to cook your grenades before throwing them into a room. Aim, pulling the pin, letting the spoon fly and throw, but bear in mind you have around 4 seconds to release when cooked, otherwise you will blow yourself to pieces along with anyone standing next to you. Note that you can often tell if the grenade was effective by the enemy's audio being cut off mid-sentence. And I should also point out that there's 2 types of grenade throwing, that's long and short. So for a long aim you need to hold left click and cook with right click, and for short throwing you basically do the reverse. I'll keep saying this, use sound to your advantage and push hard if you hear enemies nearby, especially if you hear fire support being called in. Killing either commander or observer mid call in will interrupt their transmission and prevent the order from going through. Ease off that sprint key. I make this mistake all the time and see loads of new players do the same. Ease off that shift key and always be ready for anything around the corner. Remember, it takes time to stop and aim your weapon, and that delay can be the difference between life and death. You've got to play this game thinking that there is someone waiting around the next corner, because there usually is. Calling in fire support as commander. Now, the orders you give will be situational, and like anything, the more you play this class, the better you will get. If you're giving this a go for the first time, you want to try and direct the explosive stuff away from your team, but close enough to do damage to enemy players. You also want to make use of smoke mortars to provide plenty of cover for the team. Note, if you don't have an observer near you or they are dead, you cannot call in fire support. So let's give 1 or 2 examples of what I mean. So in this example, as my team stay close to and defend objective A, I am moving around the side of the map so I can use the Autocannon Strafe to attack enemy players from where I've seen them in a previous wave. This is sufficient distance away from my team and is likely to hit enemy players. This particular attack resulted in 3 confirmed kills, even though I was taken out by an RPG. You might be wondering why I ran back into the building like a madman, which clearly resulted in my death. Well, in this particular example, I was worried that the enemy team were going to push the ground floor, and I thought it'd be best to go back and support the team. In reality, as commander or observer, you want to call in the fire support and remain hidden until the order has gone through. This should prevent you being taken out mid-order and give time for whatever it is to deploy.
Send the gunship. up in smoke!
The following was an example of a risky call-in at close range. However, the objective was overwhelmed and our team were either inside or dead. This would be a situation where a close range strike would be justified, and I cannot get enough of that sound.
Yep.
As insurgents, you can use chemical mortars on the point you are defending to prevent a last-minute security push, but remember to equip gas masks.
Fire chemical rounds on this spot.
Regardless of which class you play, make use of commander fire support requests. For example, a helicopter gunship can provide you cover whilst capping a point, so make sure you are pushing hard. Speed is key to overwhelm enemy positions before a new wave can spawn. It is possible to cap alone, but the odds are better if you work together. Well, that's it for part 3 of my bite-sized Sandstorm tips. Thank you for watching and hope you found some of this useful. Do check out the other videos I have made and I'll see you in the next one.